the Parkland, Florida, high school shooting, one local teacher posted her opinion to Facebook and it has now been viewed by over 800,000 Facebook users. Kelly Guthrie Raleigh is a Florida middle school teacher who decided to step up and take to social media following the recent high school shooting that left 17 dead on Valentine's Day in order to express her feelings about the tragedy. While the left continues to blame everything on guns, the fact of the matter is that guns aren't the problem. A gun is just a tool. The real problem is today's youth have not received the same upbringing that generations before have, and according to this educator, she puts the blame squarely on technology, the parents, and the mental health field. Here's what she wrote. Okay, I'll be the bad guy and say what no one else is brave enough to say, but wants to say. I'll take all the criticism and S from everyone because you know what, I'm a teacher. I live this life daily. And I wouldn't do anything else. But I also know daily I could end up in an active shooter situation. Until we, as a country, are willing to get serious and talk about mental health issues, lack of available care for the mental health issues, lack of discipline in the home, horrendous lack of parental support when the schools are trying to control horrible behavior at school. Oh no, not my kid. What did you do to cause my kid to react that way? Lack of moral values, and yes, I'll say it, violent video games that take away all sensitivity to any compassion for others' lives, as well as reality TV that makes it commonplace for people to constantly scream up in each other's faces and not value any other person but themselves. We will have a gun problem in school. Our kids don't understand the permanency of death anymore. I grew up with guns. Everyone knows that. But you know what? My parents never supported any bad behavior from me. I was terrified of doing something bad at school, as I would have not had a life until I corrected the problem and straightened my ass out. My parents invaded my life. They knew where I was all the time. They made me have a curfew. They made me wake them up when I got home. They made me respect their rules. They had control of their house, and at any time could and would go through every inch of my bedroom, backpack, pockets, anything. Parents, it's time to step up. Be the parent that actually gives a crap. Be the annoying mom that pries and knows what your kid is doing. Stop being their friend. They have enough friends at school. Be their parent. Being the cool mom means not a damn thing when either your kid is dead or your kid asks other people because they were allowed to have their space and privacy in your home. I'll say it again. My home was filled with guns growing up. For God's sake, my daddy was an 82nd Airborne Ranger who lost half his face serving our country. But you know what? I never dreamed of shooting anyone with his guns. I never dreamed of taking one. I was taught respect for human life, compassion, rules, common decency, and most of all, I was taught that until I moved out. My life in bedroom wasn't mine, it was theirs. And they were going to know what was happening because they loved me and wanted the best for me. There. Say that I'm a horrible person. I didn't bring up gun control, and I will refuse to debate it with anyone. This post wasn't about gun control. This was me, loving the crap out of people and wanting the best for them. This was about my school babies and knowing that God created each one for greatness and just wanted them to reach their futures. It's about 20 years ago this year I started my teaching career. Violence was not this bad 20 years ago. Lack of compassion wasn't this bad 20 years ago. And God knows 20 years ago that I wasn't afraid daily to call a parent because I knew that 9 out of 10 would cuss me out, tell me to go to hell, call the news on me, call the school board on me, or post all over Facebook about me because I called to let them know what their child chose to do at school, because they are a normal kid. Those 17 lives mattered. When are we going to take our own responsibility seriously? This teacher smacks the nail squarely on the head. We have all seen instances where parents would rather have technology take care of their children rather than taking on the huge responsibility of disciplining their children themselves. They rather hand over their smartphones or iPads to their kids than teaching them to behave and respect those around them. We have a whole generation of spoiled, entitled brats who think the world revolves around them and their needs are all that matters. And we are now suffering the consequences. Can anyone imagine what would have happened to any of us who are over 40 if we would have done something like this on a commercial plane flight when we were kids? Anyone who grew up in the 80s and before knew all too well that they needed to stay in line, if not there would be hell to pay. Myself, as a youngster, I remember friends who would spend about 80% of the time grounded for acting up. Face it, we all knew those cases or were one of them. But it all taught us the world doesn't revolve around us. Instead, we learned that only because that classmate would make fun of us, bully us, or that cute girl wouldn't dance with us at the school dance on Friday night, it didn't give us a right to go shoot any of them. Follow us on Facebook. From the web powered by Zergnet, awkward Olympics wardrobe malfunctions. You can't unsee the real reason you don't hear about LeAnn Rimes anymore. The truth about Chip Gaines. This figure skating move was too provocative for the Olympics. Here's what you didn't know about Megyn Kelly. Olympic figure skater handles wardrobe malfunction perfectly.